Yeah, g'day everyone. Right, just going to give them a bit of update, and actually the main purpose of this video and the reason I wanted to do it now, so I wanted to show you something. Actually, it'll look even worse in another half hour or so once we start getting shadows, but yeah, you can see it now. I knew there was dents in this quarter. I never realised just how bad they were until I got the afternoon sun coming into the shed with the van in here. And I don't know if the camera actually can pick this up or not. I hope you can see it. And, yeah, that's a major dent. As you can see by the shadow line here, just how far it's pushed in. And there's actually two ridges. There's one here, and there's one here, like dented in ridges. And actually there's three. There's another one just here. And sitting here looking at it and contemplating, and yeah, because this, when I first got this, it was sitting up in the back paddock. Actually, the story behind this, I'll tell you a little story behind it. I was at a garage sale, and I could see this sitting up in the back paddock, and I was just a shell. Yeah, no doors, front end, engine, anything in it. Still had the top half the tailgate, which is fortunate, even though it was rusted out. But yeah, it allowed me to, yeah, because I had a ute, and yes, I was able to use the bottom half of the tailgate to make me one-piece tailgate. But anyway, getting back to the story, I could see this thing sitting up in the back paddock, and I said to the bloke, "What do you want for the van?" And he goes, "Oh, $50. I tell you, I couldn't get the money out of my pocket quick enough, you know. I had $50. I whipped it out, gave it to him. Yeah, for $50, I didn't even need to look at it, you know. Anyway, yeah, so I brought it home and yeah, unbolted the shell off my ute and put this on it. Just set the whole thing down on my ute, chassis, engine, everything's still in it, and running gear. But yeah, what I was getting to is on that left-hand side, and this is the reason why I replaced that whole quarter. It was staved right in, and it staved in just at the front of the wheel arch. And like this point here, this ridge here was pushed right in, like right into where it was touching. It was hitting this part here. That's how far in it was pushed in. All the wheel arch was mangled, like the outer part of the wheel arch, of the underside wheel arch. It's just all mangled, and yeah. Anyway, so I got lumps of wood in across the back, and I got the hydraulic jack and the wind-up jack, and I just pushed it all out, and got the line straight. But I tried and I tried and I tried, and I just could not get the shape right on the back. This is on the other side I'm talking about. And end up, I'm bogging it, and I said, it was flopping and in and out, and it was stretched to the max, and I had no idea on how to take the stretch out of it. I knew you could do it with an oxy, but I didn't know how to, and I didn't have an oxy at the time anyway. I still don't have an oxy. I'd love to have an oxy. But even, up the back here, this whole window area on the other side was flopping in and out. It was just flop, 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 flop. And the only way I could fix that is if you look just under the windows and above the windows, you see the small inch by inch angle bar. I plug welded that on there, and that's the only way I could take the flop out of it. And yeah, but yeah, what I'm getting onto is that sitting there contemplating, and when you're looking at the stent, you're looking at it from back here, it actually looks as if the whole back of the van has actually been pushed over. Yeah? Pushed over to the side an inch or so. And that's caused it to push in above the wheel arch, because like, your metal's got to go somewhere, for it to push over. Like they're a curved panel, so it appears to me as if that's pushed in, because it always had those dents in it. I just never realised just how bad they were until I got the shadow on it this afternoon sun, which is pretty amazing because I've driven it around as a van for a good 10 years and I've never actually seen it. I never noticed it looking that bad. Mind you, there was bog in it. I had put bog in it when I first got it. I just filled those dents in. And I had recently sanded all the bog out of it. It's probably why I'd never noticed just how bad it was. But it sort of makes me wonder now whether the whole back of the van had moved over. And not that you can notice it from anywhere else, Once I take them dents out, you won't ever know. And how I first realised that that the whole back was actually out of shape is that the top half of the tailgate never actually lined up that well with the bottom half. Yeah, and it always sucked fumes in it. I put new rubbers in it and I did this and that, and it just kept sucking fumes in. And that's what sort of led me to make a one-piece tailgate in the first place, is this fume problem. But anyway, no, I've never had a fume problem since I did. And the one-piece tailgate's a bonus. It's brilliant just not having the tailgate hanging down at your feet level, and when it's raining, we used to use this to get firewood, and when it's raining, with the tailgate up, the tailgate's got gas struts, by the way. They were a rare spares item, and they were really good about it. I took them, tried 3 different pairs until I found the ones that held the weight properly. And just kept taking them back and swapping them over. Yeah, no worries. But when you get the tailgate up, you can sit under it, and it's a rain shelter as well, so it's an absolute bonus. But getting off track all the time here. But anyway, after I joined the 2 tailgates together, I tack welded them and taped them up and everything, and then made a mould, to make the one-piece tailgate from. And when I put it back on the van, it didn't actually fit properly, and I had to take about 1/4 inch off the left-hand corner and add 1/4 inch to the right-hand corner and shape it that little bit. So that sort of straight away told me that the whole back of it was actually bent. But so I think that's what actually caused those dents. And see, that's all stretched now. If I go to knock that out, it's just going to have a flop again. You'll push it out one area, it'll dent in another area because the metal's got nowhere to go. So I'm thinking that, I'm going to have to put several cuts in it. Probably on those, or at least 2, maybe even 3 of those places that I showed you where I made a mark with my finger. Here, and here. Probably won't have to do there, but I'll probably be putting a split down here. Probably not past the curve, actually. I'll probably only come down as far as there because I don't want to interfere with that wing shape, but yeah. I'll probably end up putting a cut down here so that when I push it out, the metal's got somewhere to go. Now I'll probably have to cut it more than once, because when I push it out, I expect that the metal's going to overlap. And then I'm going to have to cut it again so that it matches flush. And anyway, back onto what I have been doing. I said I've got the bonnet on now. Because it's not lined up, I've pulled it back. And yeah, the bonnet was way higher than what this panel was. I think it's called a plenum or something. I'm not totally sure about that. And then, like, the bonnet had a ridge in it. It was actually, the bonnet was bent here. See, it was higher than that on the other side. It actually matches the plenum fairly well. But I couldn't tell, because the bonnet was sort of bent, what the actual level should be. And so then I went and got my vent panel. Took me about an hour to find that actually, because I pulled this apart 3 years ago. I go searching for all my parts in the dark, at night with a torch on my head. And eventually found it, and that told me what the height was, and that the bonnet was at the right height. And I did the wrong thing here too. This, as I said, this sort of buckled up here. And I grabbed this lump of wood, tapped it with a hammer, tap, didn't do anything. And then I whacked it with a 5-pounder, and one whack, it's now too low. I have to take it off now, put it on the floor and get that straight. But anyway, that's sort of down track. But yeah, by putting this vent panel in, that told me 2 things. One thing it told me was the height, that the bonnet was pretty much the right height, and then I needed to raise all this. So I cut all this to raise it. But then I've also realised that this vent panel doesn't actually fit properly. See, it's hard up against the line here. See, so when I've cut it out, like I cut this all the way around here, all the way around, down the bottom of it, and across there. And when I've put it back in, looks like I've put it in, I've pushed it up and matched it here instead of leaving the gap that was from the cutting blade. But as I said, it's hitting on this panel here. And the other thing is, actually that's not too bad. Go over about 1 mil, but this ridge, it's 2 mil in from this one. So I'm going to have to go right along now. I'm going to have to unscrew that again, cut the whole thing right off. I won't go down there where I originally cut it off. I'll cut across the top here, it's just easier. But yeah, I'm going to have to move the whole thing back 2 or 3 mil. And weld it all back on again. And so you learn these things as you go. Like when I originally done it, I should have had all the guards, doors, bonnet, everything on and matched it up. Instead of just, assuming that I had it back in the right place and fully welding it again, And then I wouldn't be having to cut it all off and do it again. So, anyway, as I said, you learn these things as you go. And fortunately, the other side's pretty good. It's a little bit low. A little bit low just here. Yeah, most of it's actually matching fairly well. The lines with the creases matched up. I'm going to have to cut it across here. And probably in across there. There's a little bit of a gap. Might not actually be enough. Although, yeah, it probably is, because this has been pushed over because the other side's out so much. Yeah, so that the positioning is probably okay. It just needs to come up a bit. So it's just a bit low between here and here. So I'll have to cut it down there. Actually, I won't cut it there. I'll just cut it across where I cut it before, and along across the top here. Bring that up. So yeah. Anyway, even though like it's not bolted down yet, and yeah, the door's adjustable. Like I can pull the door out a bit. Actually, that'll make that gap better. I may not have to cut that now because the guard's sticking out a few mil further than the door. So I'll adjust the hinge on that. That may well be fine. I adjusted it out to meet the guard. Actually, before I do that, I'll put the rest of the bolts in. It's only got one bolt, not even done up to it. So I'll get the rest of the bolts in and pull that into where it's supposed to be. And it looks like we're going to be good here. Looks like I just pull the door out a little bit. Because this is, yeah, this guard, I got this for nothing. And yeah, the bloke didn't want it. It's got a, yeah. You can't see there, still got patches. Yeah, that's got a lump of plastic on the inside, and there's a whole big lump of bog in there. And all the underside part where it bolts on is all rusted away. It's cactus. So, but the bottom part of the other one was fine as far as rust goes. There many holes in it, bit bent. But I've cut that off the original guard. I've cut the flute panels out of the original guard as well. Yeah, got a bit of damage there, but that shouldn't be hard to fix. And as I said though, but why I got this guard is that this piece here hasn't had any repair on it ever. It's still got, yeah, there's no bog in it. I think this is actually original paint. And yeah, so this is what I cut off the other guard. It's the bottom section. I'll clean that up, weld it in. This is the flute panel, which goes that way. And I cut this piece out of the guard as well, so that I can sit that on there. I can cut it exactly on the line. So, and exactly on the line here at the back. So yeah, I can sit that on and yeah, get the exact position of where the flute panel goes instead of trying to guess at it. You know, like I said, it was basically only a guess. It was a guess looking at internet pictures as to where those things actually went. But yeah, I did. Like I took a guess at the actual positioning of it, and then I lined it up parallel to this crease by measurement. So yeah, so rather than doing all that again, I can put this piece on, mark where it's got to be cut, and we'll be good. Yeah. A lot more work in this van than I thought I had to do. Then so I realised there was so many issues. Yeah. I thought the only real issue was this quarter panel, but yeah, it's basically every panel. About the only panel that doesn't need repairing is the roof on the tailgate that I've already made. So yeah, I still haven't done here yet. I cut that in. I'll take a good 1/4 inch out of that. Bend that in. I'll probably even have to put a couple of cuts down here to get it to bend in. This is a fault. This is a Rare Spears Gardens. This is faulty. They haven't made this properly. On the other side, although this is a ute. This is a ute one. You'd think they'd be the same, but I don't know. But yeah, on the other side, from here, like this, when you put a straight edge, this is straight. On the other side, it curves in from about this, about an inch, inch and a half down, it starts curving in. So that's what I've got to do now. Just cut that and curve it in so it meets the door. So the rest of this door's fine. I'll probably add a weld to the bottom. The gap's a bit high down the bottom, a bit much. I'll pull that down a bit. But yeah, you know, yeah, go back a few years. I know Buckley's are doing this, serious. You know, like I already knew how to weld things, and yeah, well, I thought I knew anyway. You know, basic things, but yeah, just learning how to, you know, take your time, do tacks, and not get heat buckle, and yeah, how to straighten panels and get remove warpage. I mean, like most people doing these things, they wouldn't be cutting it. Yeah, they'd use shrinking tools, and they'd use an oxy, and they'd heat shrink it and do all that. But I don't have an oxy. I don't have the knowledge to do that anyway. You know, you go putting on heat on that. If you don't know what you're doing, you'll make it worse. You know, that's a big risk. But I have seen other people where they've had this issue and they've just put a cut in it, and it's given, when you put a cut in it, the metal can then overlap itself, and you can take the stretch out of it that way. So that's what I intend to do, as I mentioned before. Anyway, we'll leave it at that, and yeah, thanks for watching, and we'll keep you updated. So, okay, bye.